Stop wasting your time and money on content tools that you don't understand or need. Today, I'm going to show you 10 free tools that will help you master your content creation process from start to finish and automate it all. And stay until the end for a pro tip that will help you master content creation even if you're a complete beginner. My personal favorite is Canva. I mean, you can do so much with Canva. Okay, so it comes with the free and the paid account, but if you're doing just the basic stuff like building up your brand and, getting ideas of how to design your labels and other materials, it's perfectly fine. You will eventually have to upgrade to a paid account, I'd say, especially if you want to resize labels or if you want to brand kit or, create your own logo. But basically for a lot of other stuff, Canva for free account, it's absolutely perfect to use. I've used it for printed material, for digital material. I've used Canva for years and I cannot live without it. Canva is also great because if you're not a designer, you don't know how to work Adobe or Photoshop or all that fancy stuff. Plus it takes so much time to learn. So it's just so much easier to use and everything's right there on the dashboard as soon as you open it up. I have used it for video as well, but kind of stopped with that ever since I've discovered this Canva for videos, which is essentially in my book CapCut. So this app is great. I think it's also a paid version available, but I've always just used free for a few years now. And what I love about CapCut is pretty much the same thing I love about Canva. It's super easy to create videos. For talking heads like this, you can add subtitles, which is super important. You can add graphics, you can add your own branding to it. And if you're not too bothered by creating videos from scratch yourself, you can easily use their template library. And, then creating videos pretty much has never been easier. When it comes to written content, unless you've been living under a rock, chances are you've heard of ChatGPT. So when you're trying to create content and you don't know what to write, you have an author's block, or maybe you have no idea how to continue with your product description, ChatGPT can be of great help. Now, I'm not saying that the content that comes out of it, it's top-notch. You will have to edit it, but it's a great tool, especially if you don't know how to get started, if you have no idea what to write about. And also the best thing is that you can upload the content to ChatGPT and teach it, so eventually it will learn how to mimic your style and voice, and that way you can always ensure that you're on point with your branding. So there are two apps that I absolutely love when it comes to content planning. The first one is Notion. I've already just started using it more seriously, maybe now with my YouTube channel, but I have used it in the past as a social content calendar. I'm a big fan. I kind of love it. I mean, to be honest, the learning curve to figure out where's what and how stuff works, it's kind of steep, but once you get a hang of it, I'm pretty sure you'll love it too. It's just great that you can create so many things within one system and then, get from one part of it to the other with just one single click. For example, you can add like content calendar, and then you have the idea dump, which is great like for when you need more ideas about what you're going to create and where. And then I just have like this simple table where I have all the content listed down, and I can always see what's happening. So what part of what is going into a blog post, what's going into YouTube, and then what stage am I at? Is it editing? Is it just an idea? Is it planning? And so on. So I always have like work in progress. It's right there in the open. I can see what's happening this month, this week, and I'm a big fan of the idea dump, because otherwise I would just have like everything written down in my planner, like my physical planner, which is which can be a nightmare because I just tend to lose stuff and I'm not the best at organization. Every time I would struggle with content ideas, or when I would have too many, I would just write it there and come back to it whenever I needed something. If you like the content of this video and you want to see more like this, please give it a thumbs up and like this video so YouTube knows that something awesome is going on in here and that you're learning something new. Second app that I've really used a lot when it comes to content planning was ClickUp. I actually still use it, but not as much as I used to because of, Notion. But when it came to organizational skills and just the entire workflow, when I was launching my skincare brand, I used ClickUp all the time because let's put it that way. If it was my way, I would just have like 3 huge whiteboards in my home office, and I would just scribble on them because I need to see things where they are at the moment when I need them. Just need like this really clear overview of what's happening. And with ClickUp, I had the idea that I was actually able to get that. Plus it was on my computer and not taking up space in my office. ClickUp just gave me this really cool overview of the different stages I was in. So I was able to generate, like, let's say I set up the whole launching process from beginning to the end process in different phases. And in each phase I was able to determine what part was the most important part, without which I was not able to go on. So for example, when I was developing a product, I would say like, so this is now work in progress, I'm testing out this product, and then the end thing would be like, if it's not okay and if it doesn't pass the test, I cannot go on to stage 2, which was then preparing all the paperwork for the safety analysis and everything else. Once you have your content, you'll want to push it out there, right? And there are 3 different apps that can help you do that. So the first one is kind of skipping ahead here, but let's just start with newsletters. So there are like email automation platforms out there. Maybe you've heard of MailChimp. I use MailerLite. There are plenty of others out there like this. So essentially they help you to set up and automate your newsletter process. So that means that you don't, every time you want to send out a newsletter, you don't have to actually sit down on computer and write your newsletter. You do it ahead of time, and then you schedule it so the system just sends it out automatically whenever you set it to. This is not just for newsletters, but it's also great for when you get a new subscriber, you send them a welcome subscriber email. Another really cool automation tool is Tailwind. This is a tool specifically for Pinterest, and you will want to be on Pinterest if you have a skincare brand. It's just the best place to be honest. Once you get a hang of Tailwind and then Pinterest, obviously, you can start generating or getting in like traffic from the platform for a very long time, because it's rather a search engine than an actual social media. At least that's what I would say, and a lot of other people say. For social media posts, I would suggest to use Buffer. So there are a few different tools like Buffer available. I remember I used this one because it's free for 3 different social media channels. So I was able to post on Instagram, Facebook, and back then Twitter. Just like with newsletters, you won't have to log into your social media every day to publish, but you just kind of schedule everything in advance and let the content roll out whenever you set it to. The one thing and the most important thing about your content for your platforms and channels is you obviously want it first to resonate with your brand, to give up the right branding message, values, tone, and so on. But the second most important thing, and maybe this is even a little bit more important, is that it resonates with your audience. So you'll want to make sure that the content you're publishing, no matter the platform, that your users are commenting on it, they're engaging with it, and they're finding it helpful, useful, funny, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with it. And this is where you'll need content analysis tools. So most of the social media platforms, they already come with their own analytics. So you can just go in there and check how the content is doing, which are performing the best, which are performing the worst, what's the engagement rate, and so on. Did you get any new subscribers? So obviously you will want to adjust and adapt your content based on the information you get there. But when it comes to your website, so there are 2 tools that you will need, and they're both completely free. First of all, you will want to check where your visitors are coming from, what pages are they landing on, how long are they staying on your website. All of this information will help you decide if the content that they see there and the information they find there is relevant for them. Because the longer they stay on the website, the better for you. And actually, you also want them to come to the right ends on your website. You don't want them to read like privacy policy and things like that when you're trying to sell your product. This is where Google Analytics can help you a great deal. So you set it up as soon as you have the website ready. You can either do this yourself, or you can ask whoever's setting up your website to create that for you. I can make a whole tutorial if you'll be interested, and I can show you how to do it. So what you can find then is like audience demographics, their age, their location, their interests, also the keywords that they found you by in the search engines. And another Google tool which will also give you information about the backside of your website in terms of your website traffic. Is it performing well? Its vitals, analytics, like how fast is it loading, how is it working on mobile, on desktop, and so on. It's called Google Search Console, and again, this also is free. You also set it up as soon as you set up your website. The same process applies. The fact is that even if you're skilled at it, content creation can be a challenge, especially when you're first starting out. It can be super overwhelming. There's a ton of things you need to do and a ton of things that you've never done before. For example, writing blog posts, creating graphics, making videos, figuring out how to put it all together with your brand so it always like resonates brand image and brand message. But it doesn't have to be that complicated. A lot of serious creators make this part much easier, and you can too with this one simple trick. So when you write your first blog post, okay, maybe not the first one because it's not going to be the best, maybe like second or third, just take the whole blog post and recycle it. You can actually use ChatGPT to help you with that until you get a hang of it. But what I would do is maybe take the intro of the blog post for a Pinterest pin, and then take just like a specific part of it for maybe a newsletter, and then maybe recycle some of the part for different product descriptions or for different Instagram posts. To take it one step further, you can also make videos from it based on the information in the blog post, and then use the text that you've used in the blog for the videos as well. So you can create a lot of content from one long blog, and that can help you streamline the process. And if you're really stuck for ideas, like I said, plug it into ChatGPT, ask it to turn it into whatever stuff you need, and see what it comes up for it. And I'm pretty sure that there will be some useful stuff that will help you get started and just stop procrastinating when it comes to content creation for your new website.